I'm gonna go ahead and bring us full screen. What's up, everyone? How y'all doing? We are live out on the interwebs for Noire Investment Group here with Bantu Cola. We have Madam Vice President, we have Madam Founder, and we have yours truly from Noire Investment Group. We're going to give y'all a few minutes to jump on in. And while we're doing that, I also want to just make this visible to a couple different groups. So if you don't mind, go ahead and sharing this feed out. Just go ahead and like this feed for me. Go ahead and share this out with your friends. We're going to come today with some information about Noire Investment Group. And what we want to do really is we want to make sure the community is ready to discuss investing, right? And with that being said, we have an interest group meeting today. That's what's happening right now. And I'm making sure that the feed is in all the right places. So give me just a sec, bear with me. I've got some funny slides for you. I got some dad jokes kind of hanging around, right? I'm a dad, right? Ladies, I know we need to come up with some mom jokes. What are y'all thinking? Give me some mom jokes to go with the dad jokes.
I don't know. I think the dad jokes are holding it up pretty well.
Classic. Dad jokes are classic. We can't shy away from dad. This is their time to shine. Dads, you keep that. Their time to shine.
You want us to keep the jokes, right? Yeah. We'll keep the jokes. Okay. I'll work with that. Well, I'm just sharing this out to a couple places. If you're online and you're checking us out, go ahead and share this out for me. Share the love out there, because we want our community to be informed about investing, right? And while we're at it, if you're in the chat right now, I want you to tell me where you're investing, right? Go ahead and drop me a note where you're investing at, right? If you're investing in the stock market, if you're investing in crypto, if you're investing in, I don't know, maybe you're investing in real estate, or maybe you're investing in, physical gold and silver, right? After the events from this year in January 6th, you may want to own your gold and silver and you got possession of it. Well, don't tell nobody you got it, because we don't want anybody to know that, right? We would want to put that out there. But, other than that, if you're actually investing, just go ahead and drop me a note in the chat and let me know you're investing, right? We want to know, because we're all about that investment game. All right, here. Looks like we got this shared out in a couple places. I see a couple people online right now. Thank you all for joining with us. I'm so happy you're joining with us. I got one more feed I'm checking right now. I want to check our event page to make sure that it shows up on our event page. Bear with me 1 second while y'all check out our jokes on the screen. So we're learning about Warren Buffett right now. When you buy a stock, plan to hold it forever. How many of y'all think like that? How many of y'all, Madam Vice President, Madam Founder, how long do you hold your stocks for?
Well, you know what? It's so funny. Over this time period, we've all had an opportunity to see, our investment styles. And I like to hold as long as I possibly can. I am a person who I look at the trends, I look at the seasons, I look at the economy and make decisions. I'm not a quick jumper from place to place. I like to watch I am a slow growth person. I like to see it accelerate. But when I look for certain things economically that tell me when it's time to jump ship, like somebody getting ready to file bankruptcy. Time to go. Certain mergers, are they going to be in the best interest? Time I can either buy more stock or go. So those are some of the things I think about. What about you, Mrs. Vice President?
I will say I get a little impatient, and in investment, it's one of those things where sometimes you have to be patient. And so I tend to now understand that you have to hold some things. For instance, one of my go-tos has always been Ford. My husband's like, "Ooh, Ford." I said, but Ford is tried and true. AT&T, there's a lot of stocks that are household names. And so if you get in there and it's not working for you immediately, you may have to hold it out. So although I want to pull the trigger and I get to be a little jumpy sometimes, I've learned over the years, sometimes patience is the best mindset when you look at investment.
For sure. Good deal. Let's go ahead and get started in here. We got a crew in here waiting on us. And I'm going to go ahead and change this slide deck up because we really want to get into this interest meeting. Go ahead and invite your family and friends to come sit down with us. And let's go ahead and get into this, right? So my name is Chris Hendricks. I am the current president of the Noire Investment Club. And we have a fund here locally that is focused around building up the African American investment community, right? The build generational wealth is a focus point that we have. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and dig in a little bit and talk about open enrollment, what I call open enrollment. So right now we're going to get into our agenda. We're going to go ahead and get into meeting the team. And I'm going to turn this over actually to Madam Vice President to go ahead and get us started. What kind of opening words you got for us today, Madam VP?
Well, the first thing is I'm just excited. If you are from the Pensacola area, if you've been here for a minute, Noire Investment Group LLC is like something that we've never seen here before. We actually started this group, I believe the other leaders would agree with me, at the perfect time because there's been so much transition happening economically. And when we're looking at the climate of what's going on economically, as African American, as people of color, we really don't have time to waste. We need to kind of put our, jump in the pool. So I'm excited to be here. Everyone who's joining us, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know it's Monday night. School has already started, so we appreciate you for being with us. So I'm just going to kind of go through, give us a little bit of information on the leaders that you see here on the screen, and we'll get, kind of go on with the agenda. So we first have to, of course, give honor where honor is due. We have a couple different names here, so I'm going to give you all of our names, okay? First, we have our Madam Founder, who is Miss Corette Hudson. You know her. She's worked with Quint Studer. She is the owner, operator of Deliciousness with Henny Penny's Patisserie, and she is the mother, okay, of this movement, of the Noire movement. And she is truly my sister, and I'm honored to be a part of the legacy and a part of the team. You also may know her as Moni Ashe as well. I'm going to move on, of course, to Mr. Chris Hendricks on the screen here. Mr. Chris, aka the tech guy, because he's all things tech, podcasts, websites, he does it all. And so we appreciate him being the president now of Noire Investment and being the leader that we need to go forward in our upcoming years. I'll go ahead and move on to me, and then I'm going to say something about us, I think, as a unit, as a family. My name is Angela West Robinson. A lot of you all call me Angie, also known as Mamuya Yetun, and I'm the vice president of Noire Investment Group. And I'm excited to be here. One of the things I know that when we were sitting down, like most grand ideas start, you're sitting down at a table and you're picking each other's brains. And we all have learned to really bring our fortes or our strengths to this group. The leadership, the creativity, it really is a family. So I'm grateful for the experience for our first year. We've done a lot, which we're going to kind of cover and go over. It's been exciting, and we're only going to grow from this. And so to create the legacy has really been a blessing. So I think now we need to move on just to what our mission statement is. And so Chris is going to pull that up on the screen. While he's pulling that up, I will say, one of the big things that got me excited about Noire is that it's not just another club or group that you pay your fee and you sign up and you sit back and you listen. This is an interactive family. We are encouraging each other. We are building together as a unit. And so our mission reflects that. The mission statement I'm getting ready to read was actually put together literally by our members in the beginning in our first meeting. So just to read that to you, we are a unified collective committed to the education and growth of our members and communities through the shared knowledge of investment vehicles towards the creation of generational wealth and wisdom. And as we go along and we're going through some of the history, you'll understand what all of those pieces of the puzzle has created with Noire Investment Group. So I'll shift it over to you, Mr. President. Yep.
Thank you so much for that. It is outstanding of a focus that we have. We know we're building infrastructure, right? And in order to build infrastructure, you got to lay down foundations, and you can't worry about trying to grab the bag and spin it all as soon as you get it, right? The focus is infrastructure, and that's what we're laying down. So without further ado, I want to introduce our founder, Madam Moni Hudson, as she's listed here, right? A combination of things happening right here. And she's going to give you our history, where we've been and where we're going. Go ahead and take it away, Madam Founder.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you so much, Mrs. Vice President. First, I want to say thank you so much as well to our viewers who are watching us today. It's been such an amazing such an amazing time for us to get here. I'm so proud of Noire. Our first year has been outstanding, guys. The history about Noire is that Noire was created to help educate our community. Noire was created to give education to the community, to empower one another, to introduce stocks, introduce investments, to empower our people to go out there and to try. To be able to read stock tickers and to know all the calculated risks with investments. And you know what? Our first year, the team can tell you we did that. We did that. We stuck to that. We educated our members. We put the information out there. We are not a trading group. Sometimes I know, it got to a point, some of our members, they were like, yeah, next level. And we're like, okay, there'll be opportunity for that. But our primary focus and the primary focus of Noire is education. And we've done an amazing job with that. I'm so proud of the leadership because they've done a great job. And just to also tie in with our history, why do you have the leaders that you have? The leaders that are leading Noire, I want to make sure you have an amazing lineup. You have educated leaders, you have powerful leaders that are not scared to pull the trigger. You have calculated leaders who take out time to make sure that the information, the things that we're doing is always in your best you're in the best manner to be handled. So when you're coming on board, and if you're considering to come on board, please know this and have this in mind, because that's who your leadership team is comprised of. That's who you're going to be following underneath. We started in 2020 just with a thought and an idea of how to get this thing started, because in Pensacola, we didn't see anything like this. We wanted something like this. We are partnered with this year with Edward Jones. We'll be making decisions on whether or not we'll continue to partner with Edward Jones, and we're going to looking for other options. As the slide says, we've invested over $4,000, and I can't tell you how much we've invested in education and resources just to get out to the community, which has been an amazing blessing. We've got 20 members, and we hold on to that number. You're like, well, why don't you guys have more? We do that because we try to stay small and tight knit. And we try to max it, we try to max it at that number. It's totally flexible. If our president, if our leadership decides to change, I'm totally with it. But right now it has been 20 members. But where we're looking to go, it all depends on where our members want to go, where our leadership wants to go. We're very flexible, we're very modern, and we've got some fun things looking up for this new year. But I'm going to hold on to that because I want to let our President and Vice President share a little bit more about Noire, and we can get some more into it. Thank you so much, guys, and stay tuned. Let's see what else is going on.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's keep the ball rolling. And with that being said, I actually want to bring up a quote from Dr. Claude Anderson. Many of y'all know and understand who Dr. Claude Anderson is, and if you don't, you need to go check for Dr. Claude Anderson. He wrote a book called Powernomics, and I just want to read this quote right here. And this is a lot of why we're doing what we're doing, right? He talks about power. He says, power is the ability to get things done despite the resistance and opposition of others. That means we're independent. That means we can control our destiny, and that's what we want. Not only for ourselves individually, but we want it for you. We want to make sure you're empowered. We want to make sure you're educated. We want to make sure you're prepared. Not only you, but your family, right? Your children. Not only your children, but your children's children. How many of you are older than 50 out here, right? How many of you have done a great job of passing down investing to your children or maybe to your grandchildren? You want to understand how to do a better job of that because you recognize now how important it is, right? We want to make sure you're educated and prepared to do that. right? To kind of continue on with this quote, economics is the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and wealth. Powernomics then is the ability of blacks to pool resources and power to produce, distribute, and consume in a way that creates goods. And we want to create those goods for our community. And in the background, what you see is a photo of the businessman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? And everybody knows the famous Black Wall Street there. We're focused on building investment resources for Pensacola, right? Booker T. Washington talked about how Pensacola was a model city to look to at one point in time during Reconstruction. We're working on bringing that back. And as Madam Founder said, there's nothing else in this area like this. And we're bringing it to you right now. So how did we get there, right? So there's a focus of 4 things that exist within the mission statement that you saw and where we're going. We want to educate Black families. That's important, right? We want you, right? A lot of what I talked about, we want you to be prepared mentally to go to the stock market and buy. How many of you understand what a PE ratio is? Or how many of you know what the 52-week high is for the funds that you have purchased recently? Maybe you have a 401k. How many of you know the difference between an ETF and a mutual fund and why you should look at one versus the other? How many of you know what an index fund is, right? Or all the markets that exist where you can buy those type of funds that grow in value, right? So that's one of the things we want to do is we want to focus on educating Black families. Next, we want to talk about growing a community of empowered investors, right? So not only your family, but imagine the more you understand, the more you get to share with your neighbor. What's that favorite TV show you're always watching, right? And you always talk to your neighbor about it. You might be texting about it, up in the messengers, up in the DMs, talking about that favorite TV show. How many of y'all want to talk about them stocks that just went up and doubled in value? And now you went from, owning $25 and something to now owning $125 and something in value just because someone sent a tweet out, right? And now all of a sudden your value has gone through the roof, right? And with that being said, when you share that information with your neighbor, now they grow in value, right? And as they grow in value, their family grows in value, generational wealth is being created. And we want to bring that into our neighborhoods and in our communities, right? And with that being said, we need to do this. We need to teach it. We need to do it by practicing, and then we need to repeat it, right? Another value we have in the system and built around our mission statement. And last but not least, let's expand our investments. How many of you are looking at crypto, right? How many of you are looking at real estate, right? How many of you are looking at buying gold and silver and holding it in reserves, right? There are so many ways that you can grow your wealth, and we want to practice those things. We want to grow those things, and we want to understand those things. We don't want to be afraid. We don't want it to be a phenomenon that's for everyone else except for us. And the only way we do that is by practicing. All right, so let's talk about why we got on this call. We're talking about open enrollment right now. And what open enrollment means is starting in August through October, we are in a time frame when we are recruiting for new members. That's you watching right now. All of you watching, we're recruiting you to join our club. And here's what that means. Every year, we allow people join and people to disenroll, kind of like how you get insurance from your employer, right? And what we're doing is there's a time period. Sometimes we lose members along the way. Unfortunately, right, rest in peace, we actually had a member pass, right? Shout out to Tanya Lockett and her family. We had a member pass, and now we have an open slot. And we want to make sure all the slots we have are filled, right? We want 20 members. We want intimate relationships. That's why our group is private. We don't let everyone into our group, right? Because we have intimate conversations. We have some fussing. We have some conversations. We have some wins. And sometimes we have some losses, and we want to share those things, but we want it to be an intimate environment. And in order to do that, we have a closed private group. We have a limit of how many people we let in, and that's our focus, right? So right now we're here at step 1, where we're in this open enrollment period. And so what that means for you is what you're going to do, what we want you to do is actually to join our group. And if you're interested, we want you to send an email to noireinvestmentgroup@gmail.com. That's noireinvestmentgroup@gmail.com. And I'm going to put that on the screen here in just a minute so you'll have it. Now, when you do that, you're going to ask to join our investment group. And when you do that, we're going to send you an NDA form. How many of you know what an NDA form is? Raise your hand in the chat. Let me see a 1 or a 2 or something in the chat. If you don't know what it is, right, an NDA just means a non-disclosure. That means we're going to send you some intimate details. We want you to join our group, and we don't want you to spread it all around. And that's all that means, is keep those private conversations private, right? Because privacy matters, right? After that, once you complete that NDA, we're going to send you a full membership pack. And that's going to list the details. It's going to have a welcome letter from our founder. It's going to tell you all types of information about the terms and conditions of the club, how you invest, the amount you're going to be investing, how you pull your money back out if, you know, hard circumstances happen, right? And we also want to hold people accountable. That means you're committing to at least a year in the club, right? And if you're committing to a year, that means you can't just say, oh, in January, I decide I don't want to be there, right? We need to hold everyone in the club because everyone else in the club is dependent on you as a member, right? So you're committing to a year at a time, right? With that being said, once you complete that membership pack and your enrollment fee, then you are now in the club and you'll be able to join us in November for the launch of our new season, right? Now, those seats are limited. We only have about, last time I checked, 4 open seats right now. I think there may be a 5th, but I think right now there's only 4 open seats. So that means if all of you who are watching, apply for that NDA, get that membership pack turned in. And let me talk about that membership pack for a second. We only charge a small fee, and that small fee is designed around keeping the corporate papers in place. That makes sure we have an accountant on file. That makes sure we have our papers registered with the state properly. That makes sure our technology and resources we have are top notch and on point, right? So there's an administrative fee of $100 for all new incoming members to the club. Everyone has paid it before you. When you get in the club, ask everybody. They're going to tell you, yep, I paid that fee too, right? We all paid that fee. And we actually, as plank owners who've been here from the beginning, paid that fee to get this going, right? So you're going to also contribute to keeping this going. In fact, everyone who's in the club will pay an additional fee because we want to make sure our papers are straight. We want to make sure we have an accountant available for accountability and audit purposes. All right. So with that being said, you submit that fee, you submit your membership pack, and you're in the club. We welcome you into the private group, and you get to attend our first meeting in November. All right. And then it's investing time, right? We meet on the second Sunday of every month. Your first meeting will be in November. And so let's talk about that a little bit, because once we start that next season, let's talk about what that looks like. All right. So that first investment club meeting for the new year will be in November of 2020, right? That's when you're going to meet the whole club, everybody that's in the club. In fact, when you get your paperwork turned in, you'll be invited into the private group. And once you're in the private group, you'll start to see some interactions with people. But beyond that, in November, that's when you'll get to meet the full club on the call. We do a virtual call right now. We are cognizant of COVID, and we want to make sure everyone is safe. Now, with that being said, you're going to also learn about all the officer positions that are available, right? And that are within the club. So you've met myself as president, you've met Madam Founder, who will always be Madam Founder, and you've met Madam Vice President as well. These are officer positions that are associated with the fund. There are 2 other positions as well, both the treasurer and the secretary. And these 4 positions regulate this fund, right? So we have an elected leadership team. So there is an ability to run for office, if you will, of this fund and help manage and lead this fund. So if you have a background, you understand how to keep books well, then maybe the treasurer's position is for you. If you understand leadership and value and have vision and thought process, maybe president or vice president is one of those positions you want to run and help lead the group and provide direction. Now, with that being said, those elections will take place in December of this year. So the first meeting is in November. You'll be introduced to everybody. The second meeting will be in December. And that's when those officers who want to run, or excuse me, the people who are in the club who want to run for an officer position will be able to run for the positions that are open at that time. We're staggering those office positions to make sure that everyone doesn't evacuate the office and then the club doesn't have any leadership. We want leadership to continue on. And with that being said, we stagger those officer positions. Now, After those who are deciding to run in December run, then the tallies will be tallied, and those who have won those elected spots, who have won favor in the eyes of their fellow club members, then they will take office in January, and they will start the new year off leading the club, leading the calls, working through the investments that are there. They're going to be talking to the treasurer, will be handling funds and looking at the accounts and making sure that the accounts are right. They'll have relationships with the accountant. They'll be moving the ball forward. The secretary will be taking role, maintaining positions, maintaining records. The VP will be in charge of training and making sure that training is in place. And, you know, the club is moving forward, and it's going to continue that ball moving forward, right? And so January through roughly the same time next year, they're going to be in charge of the club and moving the club forward. All right. So that was my last real slide, and we're at a point of Q&A, and I want to just open the floor up to any questions that may have arose. I want to make sure we don't go over 30 minutes. So if you do have any questions, make sure you put those in the chat. Probably should have said that a little earlier, but that's okay. And also, don't forget, if you're interested in joining Noire Investment Group, I'm going to put this email here real fast: Noire Investment Group @gmail.com.
Hey, Mr. President, I just wanted to touch bases. I think me and Mrs. Vice President, we see some questions in the chat box, and I guess we'll take turns reading them out. I see something, a question that asked by Mr. Brandon Williams. Can couples join? Is that possible?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up. Right. So when we join Noire Investment Group, we're joining as a family unit. So each person who joins is joining as a family unit. We love families. We want to cater to families, and we want to cater to those family groups. So you as a couple, you're joining as a family unit, and you have the ability to vote as a family unit. Great question there. Thank you for that question, Mr. Brandon.
Mr. President, so does that mean, even though it's a husband and wife team, that vote's going to be as one, or will that vote be for two? Just to be for clarification for anybody who's wondering.
Good point. Good point. That vote will count as one vote. So if you're joining as a husband and wife team, you contribute one time, and that one time counts for both of you, and it gives you one vote in the club as we pick stocks, ETFs, and all other types of securities that are available to us on the platforms. The first year we've been limited and focused around the stock market. This next year we may actually expand that a little further into other types of markets. We're really excited about that. But yes, it will count as one vote.
So, Mr. President, this is great couples counseling time, because you've got to come to an agreement to choose. This is great couples bonding session, because you have to come to an agreement on the stocks, because we have some great opportunities on the stocks that we choose and we select, right? So
yes.
I can tell you, me and Mr. Hudson have had our own little back and forth about different stocks and things like that. So just wanted to throw that out there. Madam Vice President, you see some more questions in our chat?
I do. I'm going to jump in. I see one that's a very important one, especially with me being the immediate past secretary. I'm always dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And the question is, what time are the meetings, and how long do most meetings last? That's a very good question. So our meetings are once a month. They are the second Sunday of each month, and we go for 1 hour. So 5:30 p.m. Central Time to 6:30 p.m. Central Time is our timing. All of our leadership board have family, we have kids. So we definitely like to respect the time frame of our meetings. The piggyback question off of that is, if you have a question between meetings, who do you contact? So once you become a part of Noire, you're part of the membership family, you are in a Facebook group. So you can always send a direct Facebook message to us, or post it just even in the private message group. And then, of course, Mr. President put the email, the Noire Investment Group @gmail.com. If you know any one of the leadership boards, of course, texting, calling us directly also, we'll be available for that as well.
Good deal. Good deal. And actually see another question here. And what kinds of products do you invest in? It shows me that it is an anonymous Facebook user. So who knows who that is? But let's talk about some of the products that we have currently. So this past year, we focused exclusively on the stock market. That means we can purchase bonds, we can purchase individual stocks, we can purchase mutual funds, we can purchase mutual ETFs, we can purchase index funds. So anything related to the stock market. So when we think about the stock markets, we think about the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we think about the Chicago Mercantile Market, we think about the NASDAQ, we think about all of those types of markets. See Angela Hunter. Good deal, good deal. The anonymous user is actually Angela Hunter. How you doing? So this current year, we will vote as a membership to explore other areas, right? And that means forex, that means crypto, that means any number of roles that we want. What are you interested in investing in, Miss Angela Hunter? Tell me, drop it in the chat. Anybody who's still watching right now, what are you interested in investing in? And what do you invest in currently? I'd really be interested. Our membership, we're polling right now. In fact, our next meeting will have a few more polls as we kind of get more direction on our roadmap as we move forward. And so that's why we're here right now. We're polling people and we're focused on rolling forward. I see another question from Mr. Brandon Williams here. And he says, is there a monthly fee? And the answer to that is no. There is a one-time fee that you pay with your membership pack. And that is literally the only time you pay that fee for the year. And that helps the business stay afloat, right? The business is here almost to operate as a nonprofit. It's not designed to necessarily make money as a for-profit. It's designed to actually empower its members to grow and educate. So the fund itself, whatever money is invested into the fund, that money goes back to you as an equity stakeholder. And so with that being said, your monthly investment in the present past has been $25 a month. So we pull together 20 people at $25 a month. All of that money goes directly into the market. And each month, when we pull that money together, we as a team vote. And as we vote, the treasurer will then pull the trigger on the investment side to actually buy the things that the team has decided to purchase, right? Majority rule. Hopefully that answers your question. So Brandon says he likes XRP. Another Facebook user says real estate and crypto. All right. Miss Erica Streeter Hart says she loves that excitement. That's right. That's right.
So,
good deal.
Mr. President, I want to speak to that about the excitement because what we've done in Noire has been absolutely amazing. Our portfolio is so diverse. Our portfolio has some culture. Let's say it like that.
A lot of culture.
Yeah, I can speak on that. We have some culture in our portfolio. But the point as well with it is that so you will have your Noire portfolio. This will empower you to, of course, have your personal portfolio. So we're hoping that through the education and information that's given, you will have your training wheels portfolio with us, which will help you to link and start your big girl, big boy portfolio if you don't already have one, or expand some of the things that you have there. So that is the blessing of Noire. We're trying to make sure everybody gets really comfortable, gets educated. There's information sessions that we put up there. There's people who come in and who are experts in their field who come and talk about stuff. Some of our members, gosh, we've had some amazing members in our group who brought great information to us. So you're getting a lot with your membership. I'll pass it back over to Mr. President.
Good deal. Brandon said drop some seasoning on it. Hold on, let me get the salt. Let me get the salt on. Let me get the salt. So another Facebook user says, when are dividends paid out? So great question. As we invest each month, our goal as the membership have been to actually keep all money that is gained by investment stocks. So you have some stocks and securities that are are fast growing stocks, right? So we gain money, right? We gain equity by the stock going up in value. And then we have some stocks or equities that gain money by paying dividends, right? So they pay dividends. And those dividends, that equity growth that you're kind of talking about, is stayed within the group, right, until you decide to leave, right? So that means in our open enrollment season, anybody who's leaving right now, they would leave, and then we would do a divisor coming up. We split equity every month to kind of understand what that looks like, how much people have in value. We actually post the numbers right out of our investment portfolio to the group, so everybody sees the numbers right in front of them. So we pull up our Edward Jones account, we pull it up. Hey, here's the numbers of what everything is looking like, right? So when we go to pay those dividends in particular, right? Say someone was leaving from for one reason or another, there's a hardship. Then that's when an equity divisor will be set up. We will understand how much you have, and then we will pay out accordingly based on the terms and conditions. And there's varying reasons that we'll go into later that you will see in the membership pack what that looks like. Now, during open enrollment season, there's definitely, we will divide up if you decide to leave, and then you can roll out, and then you will get paid out that equity stock at that time. Or otherwise, you're committing to 1 year for the most part. So 1 year is the goal. So when you enroll, November starts it, and you're committing to October of next year that you're going to be and keep those dividends in the account. If you decide to leave after 1 year, you can actually submit to the group that you would like to roll out, and then you will be paid out that equity stock at the end of October. So we have a couple people who are actually changing roles and positions, and they're actually going to roll out, which is why we have a couple open spots, and then they will get paid out at the end of October of this year. Next year for you will be the end of October of next year by default.
And Mr. President, something that you're speaking on in regards to membership. So say your year comes up and you're like, you know what, I'm ready to roll. You know what? Good. That means you've outgrown us. That means you're going on to the next level. That means that you know about your portfolio, you know how to manage it. It means that you are comfortable, you've gotten the education, and that's what we want you to grow. If you want to stay with us another year, that's excellent. If not, guess what? You've had a year of training. You've had a year of training, not only with just your peers, but some of the best in the industry. Some of the best that you see brown and black faces in the financial industry here in Pensacola, which has been like amazing. So it's not a bad thing at all. And there's no hard feelings between any of us. But Madam Vice President, are you able to just speak to them? Like, say, what happens if a person decides, like, if in the middle of the year, the processes, if someone does, somebody does decide, like in the middle of the year, what happens if somebody says, hey, I want to bounce at 6 months?
Well, so the first thing we kind of talked about when we started the meeting was this concept of family. And I want to bring that back up because we are not trying to hold anybody or push anybody against the wall when it comes to being a part of the group. We are very transparent. Transparency has been the big focal point in starting a Black investment group, for so many reasons. If someone for one reason or the other says, hey, I want to exit, this is not for me, you would simply contact us first, sending us an email, noirinvestmentgroup@gmail.com. We do have to do the math and the numbers. You do have a penalty that comes into play if you pull out before that year term. When you receive that membership packet, it breaks down each section, and we call it a pack because you do have to read it. It is information that you will have to sign, basically stating that you're part of this group. I also want to say that this is not something that is a new concept as far as investment groups. There are many types of investment groups. They invest in different types of things, but this particular group is powerful because of the educational portion of it and because we're all at different levels. There are some people in this group that are skyrocketed, ready to go all the way to cryptocurrencies. And there's some people who get to us who, hey, what is a dividend? Let's start there. So it's a really great way for us to support each other. So it may be something that we need to talk about, the reasons why you want to exit. But if so, you just reach out to us, let us know, and then we'll take you to that next step on what that looks like as far as the outtake process or you exiting the group.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. Let's see here. Do we have any additional questions in the chat?
Mr. President, did you see Angela asked what's been the ROI in the past years? Return on investment.
Good deal. Good deal. So that's an interesting question. So the good thing is we have been investing for 1 full year, and we actually have a mixed bag, but we're actually up. I'll have to pull the number up. I didn't prepare to come talk about the very specific number, but I'm glad you're holding us accountable. Right now, we are roughly up 5 to 6%. We have a mixed bag, though. We have some stocks that are down, and we have a lot of funds, ETFs, mutual funds that are actually up. So we're buying individual stocks, and sometimes those stocks are up and down. And then we have some mutual funds and ETFs that are actually way up. We actually got to invest in the actual electric car market. So whether it's, we don't own Tesla direct, but we own the mutual funds and ETFs that buy Tesla and buy some of the other electric car companies and buy some of the battery manufacturing facilities that make batteries for those companies, right? So it's not just about owning the stock that you hear in the headline, right? Owning Tesla. How many supporting industries are around battery manufacturing and AI and, you know, all of those things, that artificial intelligence, all those things that are involved. So we're up, but we are not, I just say we're up. I don't want to put all the details out there yet, because this is actually a public forum and we want to keep some of those things private, but we are actually up. I'll just leave it like that. Madam Founder, I'm gonna wind up talking too much, so I better be quiet right now.
Well, if I could piggyback off that question, though, I also want to add, it was mentioned before that we partner with Edward Jones. And I just want to also bring up that we do have a financial advisor that is present when we are making judgment calls on what to invest in and what not to invest in. You also are just going to brag on my leadership team. Everyone here is a business owner, is an entrepreneur, is a motivated and inspired by economics. And so when we started the group, we also wanted to make sure that we did have someone else who is in the field who does this every day to kind of help us say, yeah, you guys might want to hold on to that, or maybe give it another week, or maybe give it, so those, you know, those training wheels, as Madam Founder kind of said before, have really been helpful on making our individual concepts grow on how to invest, and then opening up new opportunities for us on things that maybe individually we hadn't even thought about. So we do have other people in the group that have the financial heads, like our advisors, that do also help us with the investment.
Good deal. Good deal.
That's so right. You know, Mrs. Vice President, so for just in case people know, like, we are not a runaway train. We have an amazing shout out to Erin Wilmer over at Edward Jones, who's been with us, and she has supported us. She keeps us in line. And this is how it goes, because we are the leadership team has talked about this. We are a group of the people. We are a group of the people. So if you guys if you decide and you vote and say, I want this, we've had situations where we go to our investors, she's like, I think this, our group says, I think that. You know what we do? We are a group of the people. So it's about our group. And that, I hope that gives you some insight in regards to the empowerment that we have amongst each other for sense of community, and the democracy within the group, the way that we run things and we vote. There are votes that happen in all of our meetings. There's nothing happening underneath the table. We push it out to you guys. It's presented. We talk about it, and it's recorded. It's recorded. So if you ever have a question, or if you're not able to meet the meeting, there's nothing said on the side that you don't know. It's all put out there. So it's an amazing opportunity, Mr. President.
For sure. All right. Well, let's keep it going. I see Pepper Boy says, great ideas. I commend you all for bringing this opportunity to our community. Hey, look, this is what it's about, right? We're laying down infrastructure because we want to grow our community. So long we look to other cities, we look to other areas, and we say, oh man, they're doing it over there. They're doing it big. Nah, we're here. We're right here in our city, in our community, and we're saying we're doing it. So with that being said, my ask is you join us. Will you join us? With that being said, I'm going to put this email address back up on the screen. I need to see at least 5 of y'all on this call send an email to Noire Investment Group at gmail.com and say, I want to join. And when you do that, you'll have every opportunity. You'll receive that NDA, and we're going to start bringing you into the fold, right? It is a first come, first served basis. That means get that in, and it's actually who gets that membership pack and who gets that money turned in, who fills those open slots. Right now, the overwhelming majority of the group is staying for another year. And we're so thankful for everybody and their participation. With that being said, there are a few slots open. So you do not want to be slack in joining this group, because once it closes, it closes. And we'll see y'all next year, right? It's open until October. But as soon as those slots fill up and they're on roll with their fee and their membership pack turned in, we'll see the rest of y'all next year. We'll report.
We did have some people on the waiting list a couple of months ago. So as soon as we close, it seems like we have, some people who want to come in. But at that point, once we reach 20, like Mr. President said, it's really next year for that available slot to be open.
We're hoping and we're looking forward to. We want Noire members to buy the block. Everybody talks about investments and talking about wanting to build a better Pensacola, but nobody wants to talk about the financial responsibility about that. Can you manage your home portfolio? Can you manage your home finances? What do your home finances look like? Do you have a diversified portfolio? How much do you have invested? Are you ready to invest? Are you ready to buy the block? If the block was given to you, would you know what to do with it? Would you know how to increase the funds? Would you know how to make money off of it? Are you able to negotiate these things? Like, there's so much that goes with it. We are hoping that we will have members who can go back out, make the money, learn these tips, these tools, build your portfolio, and then go make major impacts. If you look at your leadership team, I dare you to look up and see what your leadership team does in the community outside of Noire. They're learning and doing things in their portfolio, and then they're diversified in so many other different things. So I challenge you guys, definitely, if you're interested, you're ready to make some moves here in Pensacola, the email is there. You're going to get great education. You have great leadership, proud leadership that are really outstanding persons in the community. They are. The members that we have are amazing. We've got some bomb entrepreneurs, influencers that are in our group that we run out into the community and see. You will really be rubbing arms with some amazing people. And every time I go out, I'll run into some of my members. And it's always awesome to see them. So the invitation is out there, and I hope you guys consider it. Mr. President?
Sounds good. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up from here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to close this live stream out. This is out there in the public, so please share it out with a friend of yours. If you're interested in investing, like I said, go ahead and get your name in the hat first, then go share it with your friend. We have roughly 4 slots open. And when someone turns in that membership pack and turn in that money times 4, it's see you next year. We love y'all, but we got work to do. We're building. We're going to buy the block, like Madam Founder said. And if you want to join in buying the block, we support Gulf Coast Black businesses. Let's go buy the block. This is a Black business. You see Black leadership here, and we're fin to go buy the block. We're fixing to go buy the block. We will buy the block for you proper English fellows out there.
Fixing.
But fixing, right? That's that Southern slang right there. But for the rest of y'all, right, we are going to buy the block. We are going to set up generational wealth, right? We are going to own a piece of the puzzle and of the pie that exists here, and we're going to take full advantage of it. So if you want to run with us, then come run with us. Send your email, noireinvestmentgroup@gmail.com. And on that note, we out.